What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. This is my co-main event prediction for UFC 291. We got Jan Blachowicz going against Alex Pereira.
I need all the wins, yeah. Harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out.
And we are back for another prediction video. This week we are breaking down UFC 291, and on this video we're breaking down the co-main event for UFC 291, a fight that I know a lot of people are looking forward to, including myself, a fight where we have Alex Pereira, former middleweight champion, moving up and taking on Jan Blachowicz at light heavyweight. Should be a fun fight. It's a very fascinating fight to break down as well. I feel like this fight can play out a lot of different ways. We have a closely lined fight here too, so gonna break it down, see if we can get the winner right correctly, get that right, and then also potentially make some money on this fight as well. So before we get into it and break the fight down, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. I do appreciate that a ton. Be on the lookout for the main event prediction, and then be on the lookout for the full card prediction video breaking down all 12 fights for this card. That'll be out on Monday. So I say we get right into it here, and we're going to start with Jan Blachowicz, who is 40 years old, 6'2", with a 78-inch reach. He is 29-9-1, and he has 3-1-1 in his last 5 fights. As far as Alex Pereira, he is 36 years old, 6'4", with an 80-inch reach, 7-2 and 4-1 in his last 5 fights. So we take a look at the odds here, and we see that not a ton of live movement, but Blachowicz opened up -145. He is currently -120. And then we have Alex Pereira opening up +125. He's currently +100. So I do think Alex Pereira is going to be a very popular dog this week. I could even see this line flipping at some point. I think he's going to be probably one of the most popular. I think it's between him or like Michel Pereira this week in terms of very popular dogs. So this is a fight where, and I kind of hate fights like these where I wish I knew the game plan of Jan Blachowicz in this fight. Like, if I knew the game plan, I mean, this fight would be so much easier to break down, right? Is Jan Blachowicz going to go out there and test this striking against Alex Pereira? If he does that, do I still think he can win this fight? Potentially, but, I like the striking of Pereira a lot better. I mean, Pereira has a ton of tools on the feet. He's very long, very rangy, and the volume especially. I think Pereira is the much higher volume striker in this matchup, whereas Jan Blachowicz, lower volume, not much going on the feet, but when he does land, he lands very, very hard. Obviously has that legendary Polish power. So I could see, Pereira winning a lot of minutes, with the volume, and he has power as well. But what kind of concerns me on the feet with Pereira is the durability. I don't think Pereira has the best durability, not only because he got knocked out in the last Adesanya fight, but he did get hurt very bad in the late first round of the first Adesanya fight. Hurt almost, he got saved by the bell as well. So him moving up to light heavyweight, is that going to help his durability? It could, but in the same note, this is a guy in Alex Pereira who just got knocked out very badly 2 months ago. I mean, that is a super quick turnaround. Like, that's a concerning turnaround there for Alex Pereira. He is coming back way too soon, like 2.5 months ago. That is something that has to be taken into consideration. So on the feet, I think Pereira does have the better tools, more volume, but Blachowicz absolutely could land that big shot. That's what he's known for, that legendary Polish power. The way I think that Blachowicz can just make this look super easy is just taking this fight down to the mat. And that's not really Blachowicz's game. Blachowicz averages like less than 1 takedown per 15 minutes, 0.97. But he is completing takedowns at a 53% accuracy, and we kind of saw him go to that in the Adesanya fight. It was a 5-round fight. We saw Blachowicz take down Adesanya in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round, was able to control him, win minutes, and ultimately beat Israel Adesanya. I think that is, very, very important to mention here. Why wouldn't he do that here against Alex Pereira? I mean, Alex Pereira is a phenomenal kickboxer, but I still really question the ground game. We saw Adesanya, believe it or not, get his very first takedown ever against Alex Pereira in their first fight. That was the very first time ever that Adesanya got a takedown, and quite frankly, I didn't like how Alex Pereira looked on the mat. He just had no answer. He couldn't get up. He was making mistakes on the mat. if Jan Blachowicz gets on top, I think he probably finishes Pereira. It's just, will he go to the ground game, or is he going to go out there and strike with this guy? Another thing I don't like about Blachowicz is he's 40 years old now. His last couple performances haven't been great. There was that Glover Teixeira performance where he just looked terrible. I don't know what was up with him on that fight, but he looked awful. He got taken down, tapped right away. Obviously, you're not going to worry about that here, but still just looked like off in that fight. He looked a little bit better against Rakic, won that fight, due to Rakic getting hurt, and then obviously that fight with Ankalaev that ended up being a draw. I didn't think he looked that great here, but this is a matchup where I think he has just a lot of avenues to win this fight, whether it is landing that big shot with that legendary Polish power, knocking out Pereira, who quite frankly is just coming back way too soon. I'll tell you right now, Blachowicz hits way harder than Israel Adesanya, right? So I think a Blachowicz knockout is on the table. It's just, why not take down Pereira and submit him? I mean, Blachowicz is a black belt in BJJ. He does have multiple submissions on his record. Hasn't subbed anybody in a long time. It's been like 5 years, but he was able to submit Nikita Krylov, was able to submit Devin Clark. He does have some submissions in the UFC, and I think it would be wise to go to that ground game like he did in the Adesanya fight. I think he would be foolish not to. But I don't know if I can trust him to do it, because like I said, it's not really his game, but he can do it if he wants to. It's just, will he do it or not, I guess, is the big question in this fight. If he does go to the grappling, to the wrestling, I think he looks like a massive favorite. If he doesn't, it's probably a close fight where Pereira probably is landing more volume. Both guys have that power, like I said. So it's kind of an interesting fighter, but a very, very good fight. I'm looking forward to Alex Pereira coming up a weight class. The guy is huge for middleweight. Like I said, I think his durability, it probably helps out his durability, not cutting all that weight. Would like to see him take a little bit more time off after getting sparked by Adesanya, but it is what it is. So yeah, should be a very, very fun fight here. I'm gonna take Jan Blachowicz to win this fight. Potentially a hot take, but I think it's by sub. I think he does implement the grappling here. We are in Salt Lake City, Utah, which is at elevation. And I remember the last card that was in Salt Lake City. It was the Usman Edwards card. And there's just a lot of weird outcomes, a lot of fighters just gassing out. So I'm curious to see how really both of these guys and their gas tanks do hold up. But if Blachowicz does go out there and wrestle, make Pereira grapple a little bit, I could see Pereira definitely tiring out, making mistakes on the mat especially, and Jan Blachowicz eventually getting a sub. So I don't think it comes early. I think Pereira's takedown defense, his grappling defense should hold up early on initially. But if Blachowicz does keep going to the ground, landing the ground and pound, I think Pereira eventually is going to make a couple mistakes, and I think a black belt in Jan Blachowicz is going to be able to take advantage of those mistakes. Don't like the fact that Blachowicz is 40. Don't like how he hasn't been looking great in his last couple matchups, but this is a matchup where I think he has all the tools to not only win this fight, but win it very dominantly. It's just, will he use that path to victory, and that is yet to be seen, and we will find out on Saturday here. So like I said, we have Blachowicz minus 120. We have Pereira plus 100. The under 2.5 rounds is minus 155. I don't hate that, because I think both guys can knock each other out. Both guys have a ton of power. But Blachowicz is super tough. Blachowicz, I think, has only been knocked out once in the UFC, and it was against a prime Thiago Santos. So maybe Pereira can knock him out, though. And then, like I said, if Blachowicz does get this fight down to the mat, I think he can kind of run through Pereira like a hot knife through butter. So I think the unders is probably solid. But I'm going to be taking a look at this line throughout the week. I think it probably will move more in the favor of Alex Pereira. And if I can get Jan Blachowicz at dog money, I'll probably pull the trigger there. And then I'll also be taking a look at a sneaky Jan Blachowicz submission prop, which I think is going to be a pretty crazy price as well. Because it's not really his game, but it could be his game here if he wants to. So that's kind of how I'm attacking this fight. No plays for me on this one yet, but I'm going to monitor that line and kind of see where it goes. But yeah, such a fascinating fight. I'm looking forward to this one quite a bit. You can make cases for both guys, but I'm going to be on the side of Jan Blachowicz this week, and I'm going to pick him to win by second round submission. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know who you guys have down in the comments, if any bets are sticking out as well. Be on the lookout for the main event breakdown, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, and then also be on the lookout for the full card breakdown as well, breaking down all 12 fights. Phenomenal card here, UFC 291. And yeah, best of luck, guys, and we'll talk to you guys soon. See you later.